Good morning, esteemed scholars and friends alike. My name is Lilly-Ann Johnson, and I'd like to begin by extending a warm thank you, as it is my great pleasure to come before you all today to discuss beloved American writer John Steinbeck, whose impactful empathy and drastic realism separates his work among the cornerstones of the writings of the American experience. On February 27, 1902, in Salinas, California, Steinbeck was born to a middle-class working family among 3 other sisters. He lived a relatively happy childhood, often spending his time forming his deep appreciation for nature found in many of his literary works. At a young age, Steinbeck decided that he would become a writer, and when he was not outside, he would often lock himself in the room for hours at a time to practice his writing skills. In the year 1919, Steinbeck enrolled himself into Stanford University in order to please his parents, who believed he needed a college education. He spent around 6 years being formally educated, but found that in his own life there was no good use for education. In 1925, he dropped out with no degree to prove his enrollment and decided instead to provide for himself. After his failure in education, he decided to pursue a life of difficult manual labor while balancing out his love of writing. He would work hard jobs that were physically demanding, but he would find peace in the nature where he worked. These outdoor jobs, many being on farms, inspired a plethora of his works, grounding his fictional writings in authenticity, giving the opportunity to write realistic narratives of the American working class. John Steinbeck's literary career spanned from 1929 to 1966, producing 17 works of fictional writing and 10 of nonfiction, establishing himself as a central figure among the 20th century writers. His breakthrough work came with a work called Tortilla Flat in 1935, which was a humorous portrayal of paisanos that came from Monterey, beginning his enduring theme of the working class. Although Steinbeck's writing spanned across 4 influential decades, producing some of the most notorious work in American literature, it is his Of Mice of Men and The Grapes of Wrath that really define his writing. In 1937, he wrote his infamous Of Mice of Men, following 2 laborers who try to find self-sufficiency in a world that is completely stacked against them. In 1939, he released arguably his most well-known work, The Grapes of Wrath, centering the Joad family and their struggles to find financial stability during the Great Depression. John Steinbeck's style of writing was anything but formulaic. He embraced experimentation, tailoring his writing style to the individual need of every unique writing. The Grapes of Wrath writes out like a documentary, and contrarily, a picturesque structure is featured in Tortilla Flats. Thematically, his writing was marked by simplicity, the natural world, and often included a distinct dialect that reflected the less educated people of the time. This style allowed his characters and questions of morality to take the center stage. In stories such as the previously mentioned Of Mice of Men, Steinbeck questions the morality of individuals. He also poses timeless themes such as the fight of good versus evil in The Pearl, and in Grapes of Wrath, he poses the theme of man versus nature. Outside of the literary world, Steinbeck was heavily involved in politics and other aspects of society. He fought against moral discrepancies and worked with other politicians such as President Lyndon B. Johnson, even being awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 1964. In 1962, Steinbeck was awarded the Nobel Prize of Literature for his, quote, realistic and imaginative writings, combining as they do sympathetic humor and keen social perception. His acceptance speech confirmed what he believed to be the duty of writers: to celebrate, quote, man's proven capacity for greatness of heart and spirit, for gallantry and defeat, for courage, compassion, and love. On December 20th, 1926, John Steinbeck passed away during the heat of the flu pandemic. Yet his voice no doubt endures in modern times. In classrooms, stages, and even in the conscience of all of us here today, Steinbeck's work reminds us that storytelling is far more than art. It is a moral act. Thank you.